Hey y'all, I just have a quick story I want to tell. I don't know why I never told nobody this here before, but something happened to me the other day, and it reminded me of this story. But it's a true story. It's something that happened at some point in my life, and somebody might be able to use this here, or they might even be able to relate to it. But let me just begin by saying, my name is Hilda Williams, and I'm from a little small town in Alabama called Goodwater, Alabama. Most people used to laugh or whatever when they hear the name of it and they say, oh my God, where exactly is that? So they pull out a map or whatever, and before we had all this Google stuff, and try to look it up on the map and could never really find it. But anyway, I said all that to say this here. And hopefully you can take something good out of this tale that I'm about to tell you. And don't take it the wrong way. So anyway, growing up in Alabama, of course, we wasn't raised to worry about race. We loved everybody. It didn't matter, you know. We was focused on living for God. I'm saying, because that was Mama first and foremost thing, is teaching us about God, having us to do the books of the Bible, had us singing and just doing Christian things or whatever. And from there, they taught us about living and surviving. That means what might seem like work to somebody else, it was living and surviving for real. And that meant planting the fields with the corn and the peas and the sweet potatoes, just watermelon, just every and anything that you can think about. And of course, as kids, we thought it was a hard thing or whatever, but not knowing it was the best thing that we could have ever learned. The only problem with me, though, was I was shy. I was a scary cat. I was scared of the pig, the chicken, the cat, anything. So it's like, how in the world did I end up being a farm girl or whatever? But that's not what I got on here to say. I said all that to say this here. Let me tell y'all what happened to me one time. Okay, so I worked in retail, and then I got in the position where I was in management for like almost 11 years. And the particular store that I worked at, it's Ross. It's in Lexington, South Carolina. And at this particular store and in this area, the race was predominantly white. So a lot of people didn't drive in the area. They didn't want to go to that side of town or whatever the case may be. But anyway, you know, being in that store, you know, it might be a challenge or whatever the case may be. But hey, it wasn't no big deal. I went in head first, hard worker. That's all I knew how to do and what to do was to work hard with my hands, learning, not afraid to learn. So with that being said, you know, I went from helping them, actually, before the store opened, helped them stock the store from the ground up pretty much. I was there. While I was there, though, after doing some work, one of the ladies left, and I ended up being like a team lead, or one would say like a supervisor over the receiving area back in the back. So once they put me back there, I went hard. That's what I did. Boxes came in every day or whatever. My mind was set. I'm not there to make no friends. We there to work. I'm not asking nobody to work or do anything that I wouldn't do, because I knew I was a hard worker. So when people came, a lot of times they didn't like my personality. They didn't like the person that I was. So I was say, okay, well, you used to be in the military, you used to do whatever, police officer, you know, whatever, because that was just my personality. People didn't know how to take me, so they always judged me, or they assumed things or whatever the case may be. And I lived most of my life trying to prove things to people, trying to live the way people wanted me to live and stuff or whatever. And I spent a lot of years doing that, and I have a lot of regrets now, but I'm past it though. But it took me a long, long time. From my family to my supposedly friends, I lived for them, living for people. But I said all that to say this here. While I was on the job, already as a black woman, we don't get do-overs. We don't get a chance to make mistakes. So when we do everything, we work to perfection. So from getting that warehouse clean to whatever's on the floor, if somebody going in the office or whatever complaining because they don't want to do the job that I asked them to do or whatever the case may be. In other words, I always kept my nose clean, did whatever my boss needed me to do. And just so happens, like, once again, race doesn't matter to me. The man, my manager, he actually was a Hispanic. A lot of people didn't like him because he was a sweet guy or whatever the case may be, but because I was such a hard worker but had most all the complaints, everybody complained about me. Everybody wanted me gone or whatever because, like I said, once again, they didn't know how to take me. So after a while, they whispered around the store or whatever, and then one day we was having a meeting outside, and of course the store manager, he wasn't there at that time. It's been years later. They changed it out. Another guy had came. Just so happens he was a white guy. And by this time, that morning, everybody in the entire store, as far as the employees there, was all white. I was the only black one. Nobody liked me by now because I'm about business, I'm about work. But most of all, I didn't let nobody run over me. I stand up to them, so by having that voice, they couldn't stand it. One black girl was there, but she was best friend with one of the white managers, one of the white females. And they wanted to go out on the sidewalk that morning and have a little meeting. So, people whispering and carrying on. And so everybody, all the white people, even the one black girl, they all stood over to the side. And I can't remember what the discussion was about that morning. I just remembered all of them, meaning my 8 to 10 of them, stood to the side, like I said, all white. And they went up against me. They wanted to challenge me. They wanted to fight me or make me act out or whatever the case may be. But it took all of them to stand together to try to come after me or whatever the case may be. But of course that didn't work. I still was there. So years and years and years went by. Managers came, managers went. This person, just all type of stuff or whatever happened to me. But what happened was I suffered and still do from some mental illnesses. And one of the main ones was from PTSD. So with having that, I didn't know until I started counseling that whatever that thing that was that caused you to have that PTSD or that trauma, it can be brought back to you in other ways. It doesn't have to be the exact pinpoint way that it happened to you. So therefore that means how somebody can talk down to you or treat you a certain type of way. It can bring that worse out in you, and it makes you have flashbacks. So at that point in my life, I became suicidal. I hated my job. I didn't even want to go. I would hate to get up every morning to have to go to that job. But at the time, I had to do what I had to do. I had my 2 young daughters counting on me. I don't think we was married yet or whatever, but it was just like my husband because he took care of them kids, my 2 daughters, like they was his. And he had got hurt on his job and he was out of work. So I had did what I needed to do. And he was out of work for maybe about a year, I guess. And I'm going to wrap this on up because I don't want to take too long. So in the midst of all that, going through everything, the suicidal, whatever, then all of a sudden, one day, the DM, some other manager, the loss prevention, all of them came to the store. But when they came, let me tell you how they did me. I'm saying they really caught me off guard. Even to this day, I can't believe it. But the same thing that they taught me to do, they use it against me. They said you always, when you're reprimanding somebody or you calling them in, you always tell them what a good job they're doing. Tell them all that type of stuff. So here I am, I'm caught off guard. They came in, they started talking, oh, how you been doing? You're doing such a great job or whatever. You having any problems? You want to know, like as if they was concerned, wanted me to talk about. I fell right into it, talking about, oh, everything is fine. Oh, we got such and such over here, but it's no big deal. We're working on it. And long story short, how about by now, all the employees, once again, had pretty much changed out to white. They had females and other females, which was right, another white manager. They all had teamed together, right? They wrote up statements and stuff or whatever. They didn't have nothing else to use against me. So they said they felt threatened to work side by side with me, So that's what they used against me. And they called, all of them got together. And all these times that when the DM and all of them should have been coming down, they wasn't coming down then. I'm going to have to stop it because this here is going to be at 10 minutes, and then I'm going to do a part 2 so y'all can catch up on it, okay?